Welcome back, YouTube land. It's been quite a few years since I've made a video on photography, but probably about a month ago, I saw a camera on Facebook Marketplace, and it really kind of got me thinking, do I want to get back into photography? Something that I had done for quite a while, but then getting into digital and whatnot, eventually I just kind of got tired of it. And I realized that I really enjoyed film photography, and the digital stuff just really wasn't my cup of tea. So, anyway, one of the other aspects of this, though, is I really enjoy taking old film cameras and bringing them back to life a little bit. It's one of the uh, things I like to do. So, Yashica Electro 35 was on Marketplace for a pretty good price. I had a couple of these before, and they're wonderful cameras. They take really nice pictures. They have absolutely atrocious rangefinder focusing patches in them, but they take really nice pictures. And they really have kind of gone up in price. When the first one that I got, I remember paying around, boy, probably $40 for a working one. Now they were $40 for a non-working one, and closer to $100 for one that was working, tested, and whatnot. So anyway, I went and picked it up, and like any other film camera, which has been sitting in a box for the last 40 years, had a roll of Kodacolor, some Kodak Gold 400 sitting in there. I did wind it, so the dilemma is, do you go get this developed or just think whoever got rid of the camera probably isn't too worried about it? I don't know. It's still sitting here. We'll see what I end up doing. So tell me what you guys do if you buy an old camera and it still has film in it. Uh, Clearly, they didn't change out the film back, because this is what was in the back of it. So, anyway, it of course smelled like 40 years of cigarette smoke, and came with some very nasty accessories, such as the original case, which also smells like an ashtray. So, that's probably going to go in the garbage. And also came with some very high end accessories, still in the box. Um, yeah, no thanks. Um, it did come with the original teleconverters as well, which I will probably never use, but it is in there if I ever change my mind. And probably most interesting is it came with the original Mercury battery. This is let's see here, it's a 5.6 volt battery, and I forget what the number is on there. Doesn't really matter. It's a discontinued battery. I thought it was pretty funny that it was still in there. Um, so, yeah, E640. Probably a 35, 40-year-old battery right there. So, Mercury batteries, you're not supposed to just throw them away. So, it'll just sit on my bench for a while. But anyway, some battery modifications. Still have yet to get the dents out of the hood. And this camera works very well. You can hear it has a little thud. That was a fix that I made. The pad of death, they call it on these. But very interesting camera, but this is not a review of the Yashica. This is a video on, should you buy old film cameras to restore. So I'm gonna kind of go through some of the things that I have been doing the last couple of weeks. Kind of went on a camera buying spree. One of the cameras that I used to shoot quite a bit were Minolta cameras, and I had an XD11, and I really miss that camera. So I actually was watching a few eBay listings. One was for a 3-pack of XD11s, Minolta XD11s, which I knew probably worked because the seller was very honest. He said, hey, these seem to work just fine, but I don't have a way to film test them. So I'm selling them as parts. Got a very good deal on 3 of them. Turned out they all worked. One is in a little rougher shape. Cosmetically, it's not bad, but the viewfinder's pretty nasty. But before I won that, I had, hold on, let me get rid of, let me add this to the stack. I had actually bought another XT11, so now I have 4. So I'm probably going to get rid of a couple. This is the most bubble wrap I've ever seen in my life. And this one looked pretty gross in the pictures. And yep, it's living up to that reputation. Bubble wrap was clear of any cigarette smoke. So one thing I was worried about with this, and is looking like it's probably the case, is this did look like it had some pitting in it in the pictures. And it looks like that is definitely the case. There's quite a bit of corrosion. Eesh, pretty rough. So very rusted. I don't have high hopes for this one, but you never know. Let's take a look here. This is the first time. Not seeing anything in the viewfinder. Hold on a second. No, camera seems to be dead. Now, for some people, that is a sign of, the camera doesn't work, whatnot. But a lot of these cameras are, they're completely electronically controlled. There's some manual speeds if your battery does go down. And the film door is a little janky. There we go. Not bad though. Let's see here. I think the 1/25th a second, maybe 2/50th, maybe flash sync, maybe not. Okay. So before I do anything, before I try to clean this up, anything like that, I'll check the battery. The Minolta XT11 was Minolta's top of the line camera. I believe it came out in 1977, and really embraced a lot of the, electronics of the time. And it was a very advanced camera. Uh-oh. Can't get it out. Let's see here. Let's take a short pause, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Took some needle nose to stick in there to get that open. Already can see some white junk, so that does not bode well, but the battery compartment's actually pretty clean on this. So let's see here. What do we got here? Duracell. Doesn't look ancient, so that's good. Now the bottom one I can tell definitely leaked a little bit, so we'll see if see what this looks like. Yeah, a little bit, nothing crazy. This must have been a pretty common modification for people to do, because one of the other XT11s I picked up had this very shallow battery compartment there. So I noticed that it was pretty common for people to, punch little holes in that. Sorry, throwing those away. So pretty common for people to punch holes into that. And just so presumably it's a little easier to, get your battery door off. Anyway, so let me clean up these contacts just a little bit. Let me try that. That's not working too well. I got a better idea. Some of this is just trial and error. I am not a camera repair specialist, so take everything you see here with a grain of salt. I'm just going to take a little steel wool and kind of rub it in there and see what that does for us. See if we can bring this back to life. A lot of times, simple battery change is really all these need, but I would say I probably have about a 50-50 success rate with film cameras. So keep that in mind. You know, it's not always going to be perfect. So, you know, you may not always have that perfect, you know, put a battery in and you have a magically working camera. That's not always the case. Okay, so these Minolta film camera battery compartments are all very similar. Let me put those in. And then we will pretty much, I would say after this, know if we got a camera that is dead or alive. So we shall see it. I know there's better stuff to use. Quarter, using what's down here now. Hey, look at that. Film advance. Let's check the bulb. Hey, this is what I really enjoy inside of that camera. Is gnarly. I don't think this is something I'll be able to resell. This might be something I give to a friend. Let's check this up. Shutter speeds. 1 second. Not a good sign. Well, let's try something else. Let's go to 1,000th. Yeah. Keeps wanting to stick. Keeps wanting to stick open. Boy, it's too bad. Well, let me try something else. Let's see. This is never the video you're hoping for. You're always thinking, boy, I'll get this thing working. People will be impressed. Let me shoot a little something in this. All right, let's try it again. Okay, let's try this. Keep in mind this camera probably hasn't worked in 30 years. Yeah, that's not good. All right, let me try putting it in auto. There, it went down. So I put it in auto. Now we're in aperture priority. I did bring a lens down here. Oops, helps if you take that off. Hurry up with this video. It's kind of rambling on just a little bit. All right, so let's try aperture priority. Doesn't really matter. Check, see if you can see in the viewfinder there. It will not focus probably. There we go. Yeah, something's wrong with the shutter. It might just be sticky from, you know, not, you can see the aperture blades there, which tells you it's still got the lens open. It's possible it just may need to be lubricated, used up just a little more. But we'll see. I'm going to clean this camera up, and we'll see if we can get it rolling again. A couple other cameras I'll just show you really quick. This Nikkormat I picked up, and I am mainly just bought it for the lens. It actually came from a place pretty locally here. The film advance doesn't swing back, but everything else actually works pretty well on it. So kind of a cool camera, very interesting, but probably going to sell this one. But just goes to show you that you can, if you're looking for a lens, especially if it's like a 50 millimeter or something like that, sometimes the best deals are when you can find it with a body. So that was kind of interesting. Another one that I just picked up was this Fed 2. I actually found this at an antique store, and to my surprise, I was familiar with these cameras, but not super familiar with them. All I knew is basically they were like a copy. They're made in the Ukraine back during when it was the Soviet Union, and essentially very quirky camera, but it does seem to work. As you can see here. And then you wind it, and you can change the shutter speed. Very important on these cameras, apparently. Make sure you wind it before you change the shutter speed. It goes up to 1/500th of a second, and very interesting, very cool. Not sure if I am not sure what I'm going to do with this, but it is really cool. It seems to have a really nice rangefinder patch. The viewfinder is very dim, however, the patch is very bright. It's actually, you know, time will tell, but I almost prefer the patch to the Yashica. The Yashica has a much better viewfinder, but the Fed actually seems like it might have a better patch. Whether or not it's accurate, time will tell. So anyway, I'll be back with some more film camera videos. Let me know what you want me to do next. I have a Minolta system already kind of slightly built up. I don't have very many lenses for it. I had sold most of my old film stuff when I wasn't using it. And my main go-to, though, is going to be my Nikon setup. I did pick up a Nikon F2, and I am slowly getting some lenses put together. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll give you any updates on the bargain XD11. See if I can get this thing going, cleaned up, and see if we can use it kind of as a beater camera. So anyway, thanks for watching.